Alright then guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today, let me first and foremost say, Happy Pride Month everybody. As you may or may not know, June, every single year, is known as Pride Month, where anybody from the LGBT plus can celebrate who they are. Or if you want to make it a slightly shorter version, just anyone who's not straight, basically. So, you guys may or may not remember, back around about this time in 2018, around about the very last day of June last year, I made a Pride Month video. And I asked you guys on Twitter, did you want to see a sequel to that video to this year? And I only got one vote, but that one vote said yes. So here we go. I have a good 5 topics to talk about. Maybe 6, but I have 5 I know I can talk about. Let's start the first topic. LGBT representation in video games. There are a lot of characters in video games that are straight, as you probably know. There's not tons upon tons of characters that are gay, bi, lesbian, etc. But the best example in recent years of LGBT characters in video games, in my opinion, is Ellie from The Last of Us. With The Last of Us being one of my favourite games of all time, it of course needs a good story, and Ellie being, it's not directly said what her sexuality is, but we can definitely guess it is either bisexual or lesbian. It's definitely not straight. That's something we know for a fact. Now in the original Last of Us, Ellie doesn't really talk about it that much, but the only time you get any subtle hints about it is when you run into Henry and Sam about halfway through the game, where Ellie seems to take a bit of a liking to Sam. Not a huge one, but it's there enough in there that you can tell. And then unfortunately Sam dies. It's not that long. Sam ends up dying because he got bit and had to be shot by Henry. But where it's made way more apparent what Ellie's sexuality is in the single player DLC for The Last of Us, Left Behind, that was released, funnily enough, on Valentine's Day of 2014. And it took me 2 days to download it. I started downloading it on Friday, on that day, and I didn't get to play it until Sunday, until the Sunday. Now the DLC itself is a little too short for me. It's not even 2 hours long. It's only 2 hours if you're really bad. But a character who Ellie mentioned in The Last of Us, Riley. She, of course, plays a huge part in that DLC. And we get near the end of the DLC, we have one of the most famous moments in all of The Last of Us, where Ellie kisses Riley. And I don't remember what my reaction was to that, but looking back on it, it's a really sweet moment, which unfortunately entails in the infected appearing about 30 seconds later and ruining everything. And also in The Last of Us Part 2's gameplay trailer that was shown off at E3 last year, Unfortunately, Sony are not at E3 this year, assholes, so we can't see any more gameplay. We don't know the name of the girl who was with Ellie in that game, in that gameplay trailer. We don't actually know who she is yet. But we do get shown that Ellie is surely 100% lesbian in The Last of Us Part 2, as we can see her kissing that girl as well. And then her having a flashback of all the people she's had to murder. Really. And I bet that's going to play quite a big part in The Last of Us Part 2. As single-player, story-driven games are perfect places to add in these characters. Because if you make LGBT characters in video games likable, then the people who may not have liked the LGBT in the first place might like them in real life. Because they're not just characters, real people do have these feelings as well. However, the one place LGBT characters probably do not need to be in are multiplayer games. Specifically things such as like Apex Legends, where you don't really care about the characters themselves, you just care about what abilities they've got. Same with, say, let's use the specialists as well from Black Ops 4 as another example. You don't really care about who they are, you just care about what ability they have and what their specialist weapon is. So when Apex Legends added a gay and non-binary character into the game, you've got many people thinking, okay, but why though? Like, in multiplayer games, you choose characters based on the abilities they have and their gameplay, not what type of a character, what type of person they are, and who they like, as that doesn't make any difference during gameplay, does it? Of course, if your multiplayer game has important characters, then sure, go ahead. I mean, like Team Fortress 2 or Overwatch, if there were any LGBT characters in that game, then in either of those two games, then sure, because those games, even though they're multiplayer only games, they both have characters with a lot of personality. Even if Overwatch is a pretty big rip-off of TF2. Okay, that's the LGBT character representation in video games done. Now let's talk about LGBT representation in anime. Characters are, of course, one of the biggest and obviously most essential parts of an anime. The story and the characters are probably the two most important parts of every anime. And some of the best LGBT representation I've seen in anime, we have Victor and Yuri from Yuri on Ice, as those two are a very obvious yaoi couple. And, well, it's a very, very famous show, so you know it's doing something right, with the two main characters being gay. We have another good example of Bulat from Akame ga Kill. he openly expresses being gay, but he's in terms of look, the strongest and physically most powerful looking character out of all of Akame's group. So that's, by making him that type of character, they're showing that just because he's gay doesn't mean he's not powerful and can't look strong. Because he definitely can. Of course, I don't really know any Yuri couples in anime, so if you guys know any couples in anime that are two females, leave them in the comments, because I don't actually know any. I only know male gay characters for some reason. So the anime is showing you here that just because a character's gay does not mean they can't be strong or interesting. Now, some people could say that Yuri on Ice, just because Yuri and Victor are gay, doesn't suddenly mean it's a good anime, which, I mean, the people that say that, they have a point, because yes, it's how the characters actually act themselves, rather than what sexuality they are. Like, if Yuri or Victor were if they were assholes, and they didn't treat anyone with respect, that would reflect badly on gay people, because they wouldn't be liked as characters, and they'd probably get set, and it'd probably be the main criticism because they're gay, even though that probably would not have anything to do with it. I'm pretty sure them being gay does have something to do with why they're such loved characters. Okay, that's topic 2 down. Topic number 3. You may remember last year's video was titled "Why Pride Month Shouldn't Exist." Now, 1 year has passed since, well, almost 1 year. On the 30th of June it'll be a year. Almost 1 year has passed since that video was made. And of course, people's opinions can change massively over the course of one entire year. Now we're going to talk about why Pride Month is actually a good thing. Because in the video that I said where it shouldn't exist, I mentioned how this June should be about people passing their exams rather than celebrating who they are. Now, yes, that makes sense, but not every single LGBT person is of the age of taking exams, are they? There'll be people that are too young to be in the age bracket of taking their exams, or people too old too old for the age bracket of taking the exams. So that's not really a good example. Now, Pride Month is a good thing because this month allows people from the LGBT to express themselves more than ever of who they are. This is the month where they can go a little overboard and it still be completely fine. I mean, you should never really go too overboard, but for the majority of them, make sure to still keep it to a good level where you're not trying to impose your beliefs on everyone else. I see those are the people from the LGBT that get probably the most stick, and it's not deserved, but you can understand why it's happening, because just celebrate who you are, but don't start pushing it on every single other person that you know, when some of them might not might not care what sexuality you are. Of course, you've probably noticed, my Twitter timeline has been full of LGBT stuff this month, since it started. I even made an Instagram story about it as well. You see that I've been liking and retweeting so many companies that are celebrating Pride Month too. A few examples being Toei Animation, the animation studio behind Dragon Ball and One Piece, Funimation, one of the number one company for anime, the anime industry in America. We have Team 4-Star celebrating Pride Month with Kaiser Neko, of course one of the 3 co-writers and the editor of Dragon Ball Z Abridged. He has had many tweets this month, about how the flag next to his name on Twitter has actually been able to help people come out with their sexuality and who they are. Funimation's tagline on their post about celebrating Pride Month was, "Anime is for everyone." And that is true. Anime is for everybody, whether you're straight or not. Just like anime is made by everyone, straight or not. We even had Naughty Dog, the creators of Uncharted and The Last of Us, post their celebrations of Pride Month, especially since the protagonist of their very next game, Ellie, is LGBT. Yeah, Pride Month is a good thing, as it allows everyone who is gay, lesbian, bisexual, trans, non-binary, etc., to express themselves the most out of the whole year. Now, you also may remember around about this time last year, David also made a Pride Month video with a very similar title to the one I made. He, of course, made his first, and I made mine afterwards. And that's where the whole passing exam thing came from for him. Even though he had never once mentioned it until 2018 about Pride Month or anything like that. Until 2018, he had not once ever even mentioned it. And it's weird because he's meant to be part of the LGBT, he's meant to be trans, but yet he says Pride Month shouldn't exist. So he's going against what the group of people he's from believe in, which makes no sense, but that's enough about him. Now we'll get on to topic number 4, why straight Pride Month should not be a thing. Because there's actually a lot of people, believe it or not, petitioning for a straight Pride Month. Now, I can understand. It does make sense in theory why that a straight Pride Month should exist. Because basically, think about it. The LGBT preach for equality around between all sexualities, don't they? Right? And it makes sense. It's understandable why straight people say Straight Pride Month shouldn't exist. Because should exist. I don't know. I've literally just forgotten if I said should or shouldn't. Why some people think straight Pride Month should exist. We'll go with that. Because the LGBT have a pride, have their month, have June as their Pride Month, right? And straight people get nothing. Right? I feel like that is why straight people petition for a straight Pride Month, because if the LGBT get one, then why don't straight people? As they will come to the conclusion that the LGBT gets more superiority and more favoritism than straight people, just for the fact that they are not straight. Now, you guys know that I am straight as well. But no, I think straight Pride Month would be a horrible idea. Mainly because I feel like if straight Pride Month did exist, the straight people that actually took part in that month would use it as a way to make the LGBT version of Pride Month mean nothing. Like, they'd try and make it look, they'd use the straight Pride Month to make the LGBT Pride Month be looked down upon. As in, why do you get special treatment and we don't? Well, we don't get special treatment because all the issues that happened with the LGBT from like 20 years ago, and when the issues were much bigger than they are now, it was straight people that were the ones discriminating. Of course, now it happens between anyone. Straight people the straight people that still discriminate the LGBT, and that there will be LGBT people that discriminate straight people. So it happens across both, across all of us. We'll never perfectly all get along. I don't think that will ever happen, where we will all get along. But yes, Straight Pride Month would literally just be straight people making fun of the LGBT and saying, some people would even say that they don't deserve Pride Month. But yeah, Straight Pride Month, no. If any of you guys have even thought about petitioning for it, just don't. It's not a good idea, and what I think would happen is pretty likely. Okay, now let us get on to the fifth topic, which is which happens to actually relate to the last one. The fifth topic is how Pride Month helps against discrimination towards the LGBT. In a way, Pride Month also can help with the LGBT, because it's Pride Month, they feel like that they have more power to stand up against predominantly straight people making fun of them and shut them down, stop them from discriminating against them. And it can make them feel more comfortable with themselves than any other month, because I feel like any month from January up to May and July to December, I feel like the LGBT might not feel like they have as much power to stand up against people as they do in June. And I think June is a perfect time for Pride Month to exist and happen every single year, because it's smack bang in the middle of the year, isn't it? I mean, it's like the 15th of June or something that's like the direct date at the halfway point of the year. But yeah, having Pride Month smack bang in the middle of the year is always it was probably a very good idea, and the thinking that went behind what month Pride Month should be in, I bet the fact that June is smack bang in the middle of the year has something to do with it. It might not, of course, there may be different reasoning, but my logic does make sense. Now, with all that taken care of, I want to finish this video with a few things. Number one, I actually have a very good friend who is LGBT. Her name is Ash. She is non-binary and bisexual. So yeah, she's two of those. She's two of two parts of the LGBT, not one. And she doesn't push her views on or her LGBT views on everybody constantly like some other people would. She of course mentions it because that's who she is, but she doesn't push it on everyone like David would. So yeah, even though I'm straight, I can still be friends with people from the LGBT, and so can you guys if you're straight. Don't let that try and stop you from being friends with someone who isn't. And now the main message I want to give you guys from this video is, if any of you guys are straight, bisexual, lesbian, no, okay, let me start that again because I'm useless. Forget that, not straight, no, not straight. Let me start again. If you guys are gay, any of you guys are gay, bisexual, lesbian, transgender, or not non-binary, or anything else, if you're one of those things, don't be afraid. Trust me, do not be afraid to come out and come out and be yourself. If you're a guy and you're gay and you haven't come out yet, you should, because remember, you're coming out for you. You're doing this for you. This is who you are, not who someone else is. This is who you are. If you're a guy and like other guys, that's fine. Please do come out and tell it and make it known. If you don't know whether you like boys or girls more, making you bisexual, come out, just let people know. If you're a girl and only like girls, come out as lesbian. Please do it. If people who you thought were friends but don't accept you when you come out, they were never your friends they were never friends in the first place. If you're a male and you feel like you're really a female, or vice versa, you're a female and feel that you're actually male, come out. Tell people you feel that you were born in the wrong gender's body. And if you are non-binary, let people know. I mean, the famous singer Sam Smith, who, funnily enough, has the exact same name, first and second, as one of my cousins, came out as non-binary last year, was it? Or was it? It was either last year or this year. He came out as gay a few years ago, and then came out as non-binary last year or this year. So if you feel that you are non-binary, come out. And if people don't accept you, that is all on them, not on you. Don't feel like you coming out makes you any less of a person. It doesn't. It actually shows you're strong. You're a stronger person than you were before, because you build up the courage to express who you really are. So please do come out if any of you guys are gay. And if anyone watching this is part of the LGBT, leave it in the comments and tell me what part of the LGBT you are. Are you lesbian? Are you gay? Are you bisexual? Whatever you are, tell me in the comments if any of you guys are. Now, with that all said, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Spreading the positivity of Pride Month is always a great thing. Even if you're straight, spread Pride Month positivity anyway, because that makes you more. That of course help. The LGBT will respect you for that, because even though you don't have the same views as they do, you're showing that you still support their views and that you care. So if you guys have enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Please come out and express yourself if you haven't yet. I love you all. You are all amazing. You're all awesome people. And until next time, guys, catch you later.